DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
We are here. We are now.
And yes, we do have a new sponsor. Welcome, Newmark.
Yes, we have new things going on. We actually have a couple of new sponsors with our fall lineup. So yay, rah, rah. Excited about that. And of course, we're excited tonight because it is question night. That's right. Any question, anything. Now, the thing, we're going to put some ground rules down tonight. So every time you have a question for MJ, Dan, or myself, you have to have a question for Shani that's related to that question. Because that way, she can give you the proper answer. Right?
What? She can give her proper answer?
She can give a proper answer. We'll probably not answer it correctly, and she'll be able to come in because she's the one who won our trivia contest. So obviously, she knows more than we do. I mean,
and that's your prize for winning the trivia contest is you now have to give right answers.
Yeah, we'll play a game of is the answer accurate or is it a BS answer? So we are going to, hey, I wonder if I don't even know. We may or may not.
Since the chat room's kind of behind us, Reggie asked what my shirt says. It is last year's. Was this last year's promo only shirt, Dan?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. It's promo only because we just did a show with them because they're sponsoring another show of ours. So that's why I threw it on tonight. But it was 2 years ago. This was their shirt I got at the expo. So since the chat is a little bit behind us, feel free to ask the questions now while we talk amongst ourselves. Our topic will be Roman Gothic sculpture. Why is it neither Roman nor Gothic? Begin.
So I was thinking about that the other day, and if they would only use a little more peach coloring into their sculptures, that would make things so much better.
And it wouldn't be so Gothic.
It would be just so kind of warm and welcoming. Warm and welcoming, like you would want your entryway to be in your villa when you came home after a hard day of painting hubcaps on cars going by on the street. You would like that. Warm and welcoming.
Despacito.
So yes, for those of you who were in the music show we just did, we went through some of Volume 2 of the Best of 2002 from Promo Only, and there was a gentleman in the chat room that was not playing nicely, so that's why...
we're going to give him airtime? I was done.
I just want to say, because there was people chatting, and if you scroll up the chat board, you're going to see people talking about that. So that's what had happened. And very, very, very seldom. I don't even know if we have ever... There's been a couple of posts that we've had moderated because... We've set it up now, so if YouTube says, oh, this looks suspicious, it will hold it until a moderator comes through and clicks to release it. And sometimes we don't even catch those, so they just don't come out, and it's not anything that we're trying to be not bad to or pick on people or anything. But I don't think we've ever blocked anybody. I think there was one person we put in timeout, but then Dan got better, and we let him come back in and play.
He agreed to wear my shirt, so yeah.
See, I got one. I didn't even have to win the trivia contest.
You didn't, yeah.
Oh!
It's all right. We all know who won the trivia contest.
We did.
But I got the shirt first.
By a few hours. You did, actually. The same day, a few hours.
Dan shared this past weekend that he had a request for a song. Dan, tell us a little bit about that, because this is one of those songs and artists that wasn't even on my radar. So, Dan, tell me about your experience, and then MJ and Shani, you can tell us what we should know about that song.
So this past Friday, I was doing an early holiday party, and lady comes up to me, I don't know, 3/4 way through the night, and she goes, "Can you play Doo Doo Brown?" And I instantly, first off, had to just laugh, because I've been doing DJing now 16, 17 years. Never had anybody mention it. It comes up in the show last week, and then turn around on Friday, all of a sudden she's asking for it. So I had to immediately start laughing about it. I shared it with these guys. I said, I can't believe that suddenly I got a request for this. Of course, she gave me the wide-eyed surprised look, like, I can't believe you don't have this. And I said, in my 16 years of DJing, you're the first person to ever ask for this song.
Was
She's
she
like, well,
local, or was she from out of town?
What was that?
Was she local, or was she from out of town?
Local. She works for the company that I was playing for, and apparently we'll be at the other. So like a husband and wife. The wife works in one department of the local hospital. Husband works in another. The wife threw her party, and apparently this one was at that one. She will also be at the husband's party in January, which I'm doing that one too. So she's like, "You better have it for January." And I said, okay.
My reaction to it is like, Shani, I'm going to let you run with it, because it hits your side of the world a little bit more. But to me, when he asked that, I'm trying to think, that person, where are they from and how old are they? Because
that's why I asked if they were local or from out of town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where they were born and raised. I mean, but they live here now. Age wise, looked mid-30s.
So what's the significance about that song, or why would? Again, I listened to it after Dan had mentioned it, and it's like it didn't register.
No, I'm not being racist or judgment or anything, because I listen to all kinds of music, white, black, Samoan. Green, what color? Were they a different race?
Oh, no, Caucasian. So, yeah, they were wanting to do a line shuffle. So, they weren't
Doo Doo Brown.
I'm wondering if maybe she was a little intoxicated. I mean, she was somewhat intoxicated. I'm wondering if maybe she intended something else, but yeah. So
I'm saving all the questions from the chat room, just so you know when we're ready.
Okay. You writing them all down?
Yeah, I've got. They got some good ones.
There's a whole bunch of them.
I'm loving this.
Interesting. Okay. Did you ask her what artist? Because sometimes when they say something like that, I always ask, like, "Oh, what artist are you talking about?" Just to make sure they're.
No, because my instinct was, I know the song you're talking about and I don't have it, and then
but maybe you didn't. Maybe because when she said she wanted to do a line dance, maybe you actually didn't know, because that definitely is not a line dance.
Yeah, well, I didn't know because when I started to look for it, when I did do the look for it when I got home, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't what I'm thinking it was. Like I don't know, for whatever reason in my brain, I was thinking of a song from like the 60s, and this is clearly not the one. So I won't have it in January either.
That's funny that.
But you are such a bad DJ. Okay, so we have some questions in the chat room. What do we? Let's run through some of those, MJ. If you've been capturing them.
All right, I'm still grabbing stuff. They got some good ones. I'm going to start down in order that I copied and pasted them. So we will get to yours no matter where it is. I'll try to get to them. How often do you replace your equipment? Speakers, laptops, controllers, etc. Who wants to go first?
I can start that one.
I know what John's answer is going to be. Whenever the company sends me more.
No, actually, I do have kind of a process with that. Is that I like to use gear, speakers wise, about 2 seasons is really my goal, is because then that's generally the time frame that I can answer questions, because when I get speakers like the EVs that I'm using right now, people will be asking questions and wanting to talk about that, and then how do you use and utilize So 2 years, maybe 3 years, and I'm sure that come with the EVs, it might be a little different because I'm just kind of now progressing just out of desire for more sound pressure to the ETX versions. But it's about every 3 years with that. Laptops is a little bit different story because of being Macintosh, and the real capabilities of a Mac laptop haven't changed that much since 2013. That I've got, I think, 3 or 4 MacBook Pros from 2013, and there hasn't been enough improvement to really justify going to the newer units yet. So I'm going to ride that pony until those things start dropping, or until there's such a new advancement. If they come out with a laptop that has a 4 terabyte SSD inside of it, I'm all over that. Then my 2013s are gone. But until that time frame, I'm going to hang on to that. Light shows 2 years. I'm going to make some changes to it. That would be about the most I would keep the majority of my light show, because there's going to be things that I want to change, not so much for the wedding side of it, but for the high school dance. I want to add. Last year I added some new moving heads to the light show. And then I was going to change some of my floods out this fall, and I turned out the floods I picked up didn't do what I wanted to do. So I'm maybe going to change that for prom, but for the following year, I really want to get into a different flood that has more of the capability of doing pixel mapping within the floodlight itself. That's where I want to go. It's just I was hoping that the other option that I had picked up this fall would get me there at a little bit less investment, but it's not working out that way. So that's my thought. As Michael Burke mentions, it's a return on investment. Threw that out there, and I'd love to be able to say that in 3 years all these things are completely paid for. Generally, they're not, but they still have resale value. And I was able to move a couple of sound systems a year and a half, 2 years ago, and got a decent. It wasn't great. It was less than half of what I paid for them, but it helped compensate a little bit for the upgrade. So that's my thoughts. Dan, Shaney?
I like his answers. No, I do. I mean,
so you're copying now. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
That's not with the finger I thought she was going to give you for a moment.
Yes, I know what she's thinking about that.
I'm not copying. I mean, I'm just
because we went on that whole test thing, and C is the right answer. Well, you just copied John.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of what he's saying. As far as replacing, I mean, in a perfect world, I would love to get new toys every year. When everything comes out, but I don't have a sugar daddy, and so I can't.
Kind of a bridge off this, Shaney, and this is if you were going to replace a piece of gear, what's the most likely, commonly replaced, or the one that you would update the quickest in your
my computer? For me, would be a computer. I like to replace that more often than everything else.
Interesting.
For me,
I would have guessed. I would have thought maybe more of the performance controller.
I replace my controller. I don't replace my controllers too often because I have so many different. I mean, like for instance, I literally just got the SR2 and just got rid of the SR, and the SR was like the flagship. Controller for, I don't even know, I got it when it first came out, and I've had it the whole entire time and been using it for travel. So, I mean, my Pioneer equipment is, I keep it in pristine condition and everything. So I have so many different types of mixers and CDJs and controllers and everything that I have so many different ones that I could go to and change, and speakers and everything, that for me, I put so much use on my Mac so many times a week that I like to just, get a new one when I can. And when I see that they do the upgrades for DJ enhancements, not for computer enhancements, but DJ enhancements, then I would like to, get that when I can. And then
Shaney, go ahead.
Yes.
Before we go on to Dan or anything else, I want to tack a question that came in that I don't think I know the answer, is exactly what you're talking about, the Mac.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat room said that, where was it at here?
Yeah, I haven't been looking. I'm sorry. I haven't been looking at the chat right now.
There it is. I got an email today that Serato is safe for the Mac upgrade to High Sierra.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That is correct. They did do it, but I usually wait a couple weeks before I even do that. I wait for other people to do it and get the bugs out before I do it. But you can. I mean, if you would do it, I suggest today is Monday. I suggest you do it today, tomorrow, and then plug it into your controller, your CDJs, whatever you're plugging it into, and make sure you're good. But Serato did give the okay. And there's a couple, I believe there is a couple firmwares that they did also do an upgrade to for some of that as well. But if you did not put High Sierra on your Mac, you want to go ahead and put that on your OS, go ahead and do that. I did not do that. I will not do that. I might do it in a couple months, but I'm good. So I'm not going to do it for a good while, but you can if you want to. Just do it now. Don't do it Friday. Do it now.
Yeah, and test.
Unless you have a gig tonight. Don't do it tonight.
Yeah. Unless you're working like the Porn and Chicken on Monday night here in Chicago, don't do it tonight. Yeah.
The what?
Monday night Porn and Chicken night.
Really? Did those go together in Chicago?
I thought she said corn.
No, it's called porn.
That's John's area of the country.
Chicken.
Yeah,
Shaney has
we would
porn
be
and
corn
chicken.
and
John has
chicken.
corn and chicken
Yes,
night.
we would have corn and chicken night, and it would be fabulous. And
It's called Porn and Chicken night here. And by 10 o'clock, there's a line to get in the door.
okay, so curious, what is entailed in a porn and chicken night? I mean, this isn't something a regular bar is doing, is it?
Yeah. Well, exactly the two things are included. There's chicken
And entertainment.
and
Is this at multiple places, or is like
No,
it's such a Chicago thing, or is just one place in particular?
It's one night. It's like Monday night. It's a known night. It's like the hottest night in Chicago. Like that's I said, like early arrival is recommended. No cell phones are allowed. Security will confiscate any cell phones that are out, even if you're just taking like a selfie or you're taking like a group shot of you with your people. Cell phones will get confiscated inside.
Wow.
It gets a little crazy, but it's a known thing here in Chicago. Yeah, it's definitely, if anybody ever comes to Chicago, Monday night is definitely a night to just, if you ever want to observe a crazy non-weekend night in Chicago, that is a night to do it. But anyways, okay, so
Back
next
to
question.
new equipment. Dan, new equipment.
Despacito.
Despacito. Funny.
I'm sorry, I got lost. What is the question again?
How often do you replace
But if
equipment?
you don't believe me, you can
Oh,
look it
okay.
up. I mean, like, this is legit. I mean, this actually is legit. It's called Porn and Chicken. You can totally look it up. It is like
I'm afraid to. I'm
It's
afraid
the
to what
hottest
Google would
place.
I
return
know.
back.
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
one
And
of
then
the hottest party
recommendations.
nights in Chicago. Like it honestly is one of the hottest party nights, and it got the incredible DJs. Like the lineup for DJs in Chicago is incredible. Okay, go on.
Wow.
Oh, we just got on now. Go ahead. So don't update your Serato on Monday night if you're spinning there.
Should I even answer, or should we just go on?
I'm reading Howie's comment in there. I'm reading Howie's comment in the chat room.
I
He goes,
don't even know what Howie. I don't even know what.
he goes, I don't like chicken that much.
Yes, Mark, you are correct. They do have a Facebook page. I'm serious. Like it's a legit thing. Like they have a Facebook. It's totally legit.
We have not derailed this well in quite a while. So it's nice, Shaney, that you are the derailer.
Oh my goodness.
Usually it's
Shady.
Day's fault.
Look, I'm giving them
Shaney the
up.
derailer.
I don't know what just happened here.
I want to answer the question. Is Dan, or do you want to answer the question? Mine is
Sure,
whenever
I'll answer. Normally, laptops for me is about 4 years. I wait till and this is probably a bad thing. I wait till I start seeing some minor glitches or not keeping up with what I wanted to happen. Not glitches to where like it's going to give me sound issues or something like that, but where if I'm watching the CPU usage where it normally runs pure green, now I'm seeing like green and maybe going a little bit yellow. For either Serato or virtual, if I'm whichever I'm running, they both have the kind of that nice feature. Speakers, I normally go at least 3 or 4 years with that. However, 2 years ago I bought the EKX tops. Last year bought the EKX subs, and then turned around this year and bought the Evolves. So while normally I
And
plan
won
for
a pair.
yeah, and want a pair of the Pioneers. Normally I'm like a 4 to 5 years on something, and then it's only if like I start having problems or whatever. I really try and run my stuff to the point where I'm maybe not feeling I don't want to say not feeling comfortable, because that's not the case. I don't want to get to that point with it, but to where I'm starting to wonder, like, how much longer do I have with these, and when can I unload them so I don't have problems with them. That's kind of the point that I take it to. Controller, I had the 6000 until I started having some glitches with it, and then it was like, okay, I'm either going to get fixed or I'm going to replace it. And I started looking at technology and what was out there and decided to replace it. So that one was about 5 years that I ran that one. Lighting, I've been using the same lighting now for 4 years. I just do a straight wash. I want to do I mainly weddings. I do maybe 2 school events. So I've got a couple of moving heads that I use for my school events, but I don't use enough that it would make purchasing some the more fun, for lack of better terms,
Right.
Lighting to bring that out. So I will add to my uplighting, but I have not purchased like a change in my lighting in a little while, just because I've been happy with the wash light. I would like a newer version, but I'm not seeing anything out there that gives me what I'm looking for.
Sure.
For me, most of the time, it's usually as it breaks. But for some reason, my controllers have been like clockwork every 2 years. Not because they've broken or quit, just because it's like, I want the next thing. I want this thing. So we're going to see how long I keep this controller. Like I said, my record is just about 2 years constantly. My last computer ran me over 6.5 years before it went, and it's getting repaired. Speakers are on, I think, year 7 or 8, because I have the original K12s, and lighting 6 years maybe. And I'm actually right now redesigning everything, because a friend of mine actually gave me really, really nice speaker stands and trussing and everything. So I got some stuff over the basement on the other side that I have to figure out how to make it into my now lighting and everything. I got all this stuff I don't know what to do with. So that's it. All right, next question. This one's kind of funny. I don't know how long we want to stay on this one. How do you deal with photographers who want to steal your wedding couple? Do you give them a timeline?
Well,
it's out of my ballpark, so you guys run with it.
I mean, I give all vendors a timeline regardless of what type of event it is. But I mean, do they follow it? They follow it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I mean, it's like sometimes you just got to roll with the punches. But if I see the bride and the groom are getting restless themselves and they want to be on the dance floor, I'll speak up for them. But there's nothing if they want to get their pictures, they're paying the photographer as well. I'll just keep the party going. You got to keep the guests happy, So, I mean, unless you're doing a special dance, then it's different, where you need them personally there. But if they're, taking them out for certain types of pictures, which I don't know why they keep grabbing them for certain pictures, unless they're doing some weird family photos that they didn't do at the beginning or something, just keep the party rocking, keep it going, and wait for, the garter or the bouquet or whatever you thought you were going to be doing. But again, when I do those type of things, I always make sure the photographers around, the videographers around, like whatever vendors that are there, whenever I do certain big things, I always make sure all the vendors are around for those type of things. And you just got to roll with it. Sometimes you just got to, kind of not stress out and roll with the punches. If food is late, you got to roll with it. You just got to go with the flow of things. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to, as you say, with the roll with it. When I'm doing the wedding and such, I'll talk to the photographer, introduce myself, because most of the time I don't know who they are until they arrive on site. The first question, generally after the formalities, hi, I'm John, and I'll be the da-da-da, is okay. So let's kind of work backwards. What time are you guys going to be headed out? Oh yeah, we're leaving at 8:00. Okay, great. What shots are you really wanting to get before 8:00? So if there's something you want me to help set up or stage, what have you, and that seems to really work well, because then they'll be like, oh yeah, we want to set up a staging of the garter toss. We want to set up a staging of this. We want to set up staging of that. Great. Well, first off, they don't want to do a garter toss, so we don't need to do that one. And we can do their first dance. It'll work out wonderfully because we're actually doing that before the meal. So you'll be able to get their first dance video. And then you said you wanted to do a sunset. Yeah, we want to do that. Okay, so that'll probably take about 15 minutes for you to take them outside and get the sunset. That way I know in advance, so there isn't the surprise where it's like, okay, now we're going to do something with the bride and groom. Where is our bride and groom? Oh, they're outside getting a picture taken. But there are times where I've been at golf courses and they've taken them. We got to go to the 9th hole to take a picture because that's the beautiful hole. It's like, okay, how long will that take? Well, let's see. The 9th hole is way over there, and we've got to get everybody in golf carts. And the golf carts aren't here yet, but we need to get everyone outside so when they are here, we can go. And yeah, unfortunately, there's just times where you're going to have to just suck it up and go with the flow. And we do the chicken dance for 25 to 30 minutes while everyone is waiting for
But is there such thing as the chicken and porn dance, Shane?
There should be. There should be. And that's going to be the new edit to the chicken dance.
If you go on Monday night, you will find out.
I play a video version of the chicken dance, but it's not that kind of video version. All right, so
actually, the music is incredible on Monday nights. The DJs play some really good house music and stuff. It's a really good night of music.
Anybody else want to attack the photographer question?
Yeah, I'll take it real quick. I mean, to answer some of the questions that kind of went with it, yeah, I give a timeline. I give a timeline ahead of time. I reach out to the photographers ahead of time so that they have my timeline. The night of, I basically tell them, I said, listen, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to have certain events. Before I go to start any of them, I will make sure I've got you so that you don't miss anything. What I've started doing by doing that, and obviously in a little bit more friendly format than what I'm saying it to you right now, but by doing it that way and by telling them that way, I basically let them know they're not going to miss anything. So the last thing that they will do to me is take them without me knowing. They will come out. Most of the photographers I work with, I've worked with at least a couple times at this point where I'm starting to get, occasionally get a new one, but I've worked with them and it's just as simple as, hey, we need to take them out for this shot, or, sunset's going to be here in 20 minutes. Is that going to interfere with anything? And it's usually, nope, it's not. But the photographers that I work with also know that the longer they take them, the harder it is to keep the guests inside. Yeah. I often tell my couples way in advance, I'm like, listen, your guests are going to go where you are. So if you're outside for 20 minutes doing, sitting by the bonfire or, getting that nighttime shot that you need, that's fine. Just don't be surprised if when you come back into the room, everybody was outside with you.
All right, next question. Pretty simple one, should be quick. What is a good mic for personal mic use? One of those, if front of you all. We're just going to say we're just say personal mic. Now, I just bought a mic for my personal use, and I specifically bought a super cheap pile mic. But when I have to do good things, I'm a Shure man. I like Shure, but it all depends on where you want to go. If you want, I bought the cheap mic because in clubs I'll have people that'll have to use it, and I do not want to hand someone in a club a good mic. But when I have to go out and do mics, I pull the good Shure wireless out. That's me.
For inexpensive mics, and it probably back up a spec. More importantly than the quality of the microphone to a point is the type of mic. Is it a cardioid pickup? Is it a hypercardioid pickup? Is it a condenser microphone? There's just a variety of different things, a dynamic element in it. Once a person found the one that they want, I personally go with I've got a hypercardioid condenser mic. I go with the Shure 87As is what I use because I want to have that sound quality with what I do. There's American Audio, actually. I did a video with the 3 different microphones that they have. They're all functional microphones. For the price point, the $29 mic is not bad whatsoever. Is it something that you'd want to use at a show if you wanted to sound like a rock star? No. The microphones we have in front of us are studio microphones that just do not work whatsoever at a gig. I actually, just for fun, I took this. took one of these microphones with me to do a high school dance because my boy wanted the big, the 8000. I had the Denon 8000. I had the full setup because they wanted to impress their friends. So I brought the microphone, and it actually worked pretty well because we had the speakers far enough away in that situation. But if I would have needed to have more volume on the microphone, this just picks up way too much. It's not this. It's a kind of a wide angle thing. So SM58 from Shure's is standard. Sennheiser's got some good stuff. Audio-Technica's got some good stuff. But just really, it's the pickup pattern. That's what I would really focus on. And try to get something that's going to pick up. I don't even have a microphone. If this was a microphone, depending upon the pickup pattern, the cardioid is going to be more of a heart shape. So it's going to pick up, kind of think of a heart like that, or it's going to be picking up here. Actually, it's the other way. And then there's some that are more of a unidirectional, where basically it's here and it will be picking up everything all the way around it. And that's obviously not for what we do, what you want. And now if we're doing a video and we're outside wanting to capture everything that's going on outside, those omnidirectional microphones are much more attractive because you want to catch, all the outdoor noise and hearing Mother Nature and all of her beauty. So that's my microphone talk.
Yeah, and not to get into detail on this show, but guys, also don't forget with the whole microphone frequency that's going to be changing. Don't forget that issue too. If you're looking to buy a new microphone, or if you have the old microphones that are
there's going to be a lot that are going to go up for sale, aren't they?
Yeah, so including one of my old ones. So
yeah.
I'll be selling that one on eBay
for sure.
So don't forget that. If you're looking to buy some new ones, don't forget to look at the frequency, or you're going to get to like your wedding or whatever venue, and you're going to hear somebody's phone call while you're about to do the bridal introductions on your Shure microphone or something.
Actually,
and some of the companies are offering rebates right now.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of them,
So.
if you bought them within the last couple of years or something. So please make sure you guys check that out if you're in the market to buy one, or if you're not buying it. Like if you're buying it secondhand and you see a cheap one, know why it's cheap, because of the whole frequency issue with the whole T-Mobile thing. So that's a total another show, but I don't want to get into that because it's going to be so huge. But please make sure you check into that.
Ben Stowe has talked a lot about that. He and I've done multiple shows on that, and we'll do more because somebody asked of when this is going to start. And they're not supposed to start it for a while, but they're going to start to roll it out into different markets that they consider are more rural markets in early 2018. So February 2018 is where you guys see, I believe, in Montana and Idaho and, probably Gray Eagle. That's it's interesting, though, Shani mentioned
Nobody lives there.
The selling of those things. I actually had a couple of Chinese companies, because they contact us to do reviews on their products. Yeah. They send out an email saying, hey, you do reviews, great. Can you do a review on our product? Here's a link to go buy it off Amazon for free, and then you do the review. Well, the last two that sent out things on microphones, one of them was a dual microphone system. It's like, gosh, that looks pretty sweet for a lot of DJ applications. You start looking at it. Both of them, those two were in a 600 megahertz band. They were in the bandwidth that it's like, why did you even do this? Why would you? Well, I'm sure what happened is that they made 1 million of them, and now they're trying to dump them. And the other one was a looked like a Shure knockoff, a Shure 87A knockoff. It just had everything looked the exact same to that 600 megahertz band also. So it's like both of those are going to be out. Oh, April. Okay, so maybe I was a little off with the February, but okay.
Okay, next question. Shani, you and I are going to have to sit it out because it was specifically asked to Dan and John.
New dealer.
John and Dan, if I offer karaoke, should I make a separate business card to keep your DJ customers and karaoke customers separate?
Oh, from a business point of view, I would love to answer that after them. Just from a multi-app.
Is the answer C?
No, but from a person that,
does a variety of things
with like a multi-app, I would love to answer that after you guys for help.
I just spent some time with someone the other day looking at their business card and giving some suggestions and tips on that. And what my thought as a business card is, I want the front of it to look kind of eye-catching and flashy. And it was like, okay, title or, the company name, a picture of the main entertainer or the person doing it, and then maybe another line of text, and then have all the contact information and other pertinent things on the back of it. And I would list on the back of it the different things that I did, because I don't want to print off too many different business cards, because invariably I'll have a business card where I'm doing this event and I should have had that one. I've even gotten to the point where I want to have a business card that has Disc Jockey News, DJ John Young, Weekend Handyman, Weekend Sportsman. I want all of these on there because there'll be people who are like, okay, I've got this Disc Jockey News card, but why do I have this card? Oh yeah, well, it was a Weekend Handyman guy that, and he ran out of cards, and this is all he had left. That's happened, unfortunately, to me a few times. So it's like pull out the little Sharpie and say, well, this is who I am. Not the greatest and most professional, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So I don't think I'd make it a focus on the types of things I do, because really what people are hiring is they're hiring you as a performer or you as an entertainer. I would focus on me as an entertainer, and then what do I do? Well, let's see, I can do this, and this. Really focusing on the ones that you're the strongest with. If you're a good karaoke host, yeah, great. If you're a good wedding DJ, great. If you're good at teen dances, but not say, I do every event. I do funerals. I do senior citizen place. I do that. You know, if you don't do these things and you're not really good at it, don't list them. You're just putting more clutter on your card than you need. There's my 2 cents.
Which I hate the fact that I'm going to disagree with the marketing guru. So you can take that with statement itself just for what I'm about to say. I actually believe that there needs to be 2 cards. I think there needs to be. I think basically the way your cards need to be set up is very similar to what John was saying, where the one side is going to be very catchy, you know, and maybe identical. If you're using the same company name for both aspects, great. Have that be on the front side, and then on the back side, you know, the specialties for wedding. And then the other one, you know, the other card you have is going to focus on the karaoke. Unless you're finding that your clients are cross touching to where your karaoke clients are becoming your wedding clients, or your wedding clients are your karaoke clients, they're starting to follow you. In my thought, I'm thinking I'm seeing 2 different sides. I'm seeing, you know, one catering more towards your bar, restaurant, clientele, and the other one from a different standpoint. And I just don't know if I would see the same relationship there. So from my standpoint, I'd rather have 2 cards so that when I want to appeal to the right client, I've got the right card.
See, and that was, I thought I would have had, Shani, I'm just going to
No, it's fine.
And I think back to this time where I was visiting with a dealership, an auto dealership, and it was the Dodge dealer. Well, Dodge and Chrysler are sold both from his lot. His card had that he was a Dodge dealer. He had a Dodge card, and I'm sure he had a Chrysler card. And we were talking, and I looked at it, and it's like, well, you only have Dodge on here. And I don't know why we were, you know, the conversation. And it's like, well, do you have a different guy who does Chrysler? He goes, oh, no. I do that. I have that card over here. Completely different card. And it's like, well, that's all fine and good, but have you ever had a problem with that? And he had made mention to the fact that, yeah, I had somebody who didn't know we sold Chrysler. So I lost the sale because he was comparing between the minivan, the Dodge Caravan, and the Chrysler Town and Country. And the person didn't know that they sold Town and Countries there also. So they got a price from the Dodge here, and they went down the road and bought the Town and Country at a different dealership. And then, of course, they came back and got their service because they were from that town. But he was a new person in the area and didn't realize that they sold both there. So he met him and got the card and did that. So I kind of, that's always sat in the back of my head, is that you might give that card out at a karaoke event, and they're actually looking for a wedding, you know, entertainment for a wedding, or maybe down the road they're looking for entertainment for a wedding. So I can see you can really focus and make a much more elegant card and make a different pitch there, but I don't want to be basically having people say, oh, well, he doesn't do karaoke, or I mean, all he does is karaoke, that kind of a thing. I don't want to have that.
Well, but I also don't want to be the jack of all trades. And I feel, and maybe if we're only talking about karaoke and weddings, those 2, you know, not a big deal. But you kind of mentioned about, like, and you listed all the different businesses that you have, putting them all on the same card gets a little bit cluttered. And then it's like, well, where's your focus?
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of thing. So, you know, from that standpoint, are we talking about 2 or are we talking about 10? You know, and that therein lies kind of another thing that you have to evaluate for yourself, I would think.
For sure.
Shani?
So this is the front of like our entertainment card. So this is mobile music. This is like my social card. But if you look at the back of the card, it has all our sister companies. So like you would have Storm, which is like our high-end company. It has like the corporate everything. So it has all our other sister companies on the back of it, just not cluttered, not anything, but it has all the information for the social side. So if I'm at like a social party and they have my card, they have this, but then they flip it over, they see that we do all the other stuff as well on the back of it. But also our website, everything's all integrated as well on the website. So every aspect of all these websites go to one website as well. So, so like when I go to my storm parties and this business card, which totally does not look like this at all, then it has all this, including mobile music on the back. So like all the cards have whatever I'm giving out for that party, and then has all the sister companies on the back. So they see we do everything else, so we don't lose that second car sale if we need it. But this is the main focus of the party that they're at, of what we do. So you're at my karaoke party, here's my karaoke card. But just so you know, you have a wedding coming up. Well, guess what? Here's our wedding company. And you could call us for that too, even though you don't want any karaoke at it. That's just, something to think about too, if you ever wanted to do like a 2-sided kind of card and you don't want to put all that clutter like on the front with everything on it.
My business card is all black with black letters.
I was going to say, you don't even have a business card, do
This
you?
is
That's why you were open this coming weekend.
This is a normal size business card. This is like normal business size. I'm just showing it to you guys. But yeah, this is a normal size. I was just
just for the record, Dan, I have custom cut business cards.
I know you do, because you gave me one time.
Mm-hmm.
I know you gave me the sticker.
They're really generic, so but it's yes, that's what I do. So, but like Dan said, depending on how many things you do, if you only do 2 things, then it would be easy and sensible to go with 2. But if you do a whole list of things, you're going to have to be creative, like Shaney's company did. So,
and I could see like on the back of the card, having Reggie Kemp weddings, Reggie Kemp karaoke, Reggie.
Yeah.
I could see branding.
And then if you want to fill it out, Reggie, have like a little saying on the back of it, like Reggie, the polka king since 1970. So like have like a cute little thing on the back of it, with a little thumbs up, something to fill it out. I mean, don't do that, but I'm just saying,
Put Shaney's face, then it sells 1,000.
All right, we have 3 questions I want to get through. And give us my goal is to give us the last 15 minutes with John's questions, because I'm just so curious to see what some of them are.
No,
all right, so since Shaney, you were out of that last question, this one was asked specifically to you.
Nice.
Oh God, okay. I just answered it. So can we cut me out now? No, it's okay.
No, this one's real easy. Do you post gig videos or videos about your equipment or anything like that? And if so, where do you post them at?
Oh, I actually suck at all that. I'm not gonna lie. Here's my thing. I'm really on the fence about doing like live videos from my parties, because I actually like to focus on the party itself. So I'm not like one of those people that will sit there like with my phone when I'm at the event and be like, hi everybody. I mean, I'll do like a quick little Snapchat for like 10 seconds during like one little song, and then like that's all I'll do at a party. But I'm really bad about doing that kind of stuff, and I really need to, because I just should do more stuff about my equipment and me doing things. I just don't, and I'm sorry. And if you guys want me to, I should. I just don't. I suck. Despacito. See.
All right, next one. Cheney, I'm going to make you answer this one again.
Back to back.
Why does Serato need time to acclimate itself to a new version of iOS?
Serato doesn't need to acclimate themselves to a new version. It's not them acclimating themselves. It has nothing to do with them. I mean, Serato can, they're trying to help everybody out on computers. Like, they're good. They're always coming out. I mean, look at iPhones. I mean, that's just like saying like, why do you have to get a new iPhone? I mean, you don't have to. I'm going with my old iPhone. So it's not Serato like doing it, but a new system comes on Mac. So Serato's trying to keep up with Mac. Serato and Mac have nothing to do with each other. So they're trying to help you guys out. Here's the thing. I haven't updated my OS. I'm good. I haven't had an issue. Like I'm good with the OS that I'm on. I'm good with everything that I'm doing. But because of all these OSs that keep going on Macs and everything, they're trying to keep up with everything that's happening. So they're like, okay, don't update, but we're jumping on and we got all our people down under and we're trying to figure out what's happening so we can get you guys up as soon as possible. And they're really doing their best to get everybody going. So you can update to the latest OS on your Mac, and you can say, hey, I spent $3,000 on this Mac and now I'm on the latest OS and now I'm good with Serato. So like it really is not Serato's fault. I mean, you don't have to be Serato then.
I know guys who don't update either one. They get a system that gets working solid and they take it offline. And then
I'm not going to lie. I still use Scratch Live.
I have a friend who does the same thing too. Yep.
I think the question isn't like, do you have to? But I think the question becomes, because there's just changes to the OS and there's changes.
Right.
There's changes within it that causes your software to act differently than what it maybe should. And so the reason why they say it is they don't want anybody to go to their event and have a mess up and go, oh, you guys weren't ready. So they say, wait a little bit. Let us make sure. Let's, run all our tests. Let's make sure all the bugs are taken care of. That the new OS may be conflicted with one of our lines of code. And then the next thing they know, now we tested it. We've ran it through 8,000 hours of work and it's going. Okay, now you're safe. Personally, I mean, I don't usually use Serato that much, but I think that's an awesome thing for a company to do, because, we kind of trust them that their programs are going to work when we're doing our events, doing our one of a kind events. And, so it really comes down to more, there's changes in an OS, which can cause conflict within a program. So they say, wait until we can test things out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like I don't have the new iPhone and I did not do any of the new updates that came out, and my battery is not drained and I'm fine. And I don't care about the stupid question mark that I'm getting with the emoji. I could care less about that. That's all over social media. Like if somebody wants to talk to me in emojis and it comes out question marks, then whatever. Then I guess we're not having a real adult conversation anyways. So I don't care about that whole thing, but I didn't do the update. So I'm going to wait till like Apple says like, okay, sorry about all of that. And now you could update the 12 point whatever update. So to me, it's like the same thing with like Serato. I mean, they're doing the same thing. They're trying to keep up with all these updates with what's going on with Macs. And I love them for that. And their customer service is great. If you ever have like any issues, they're really great with customer service. So I applaud them for that too. But like I said, like we talked about before, don't update your OS unless Serato tells you it's okay to do it.
All right, 2 more questions. We're trying to get, I think we have 3. We're going to try to get through them really, really quickly here. Dan kind of answered one of them in the chat room. How do you guys meet? I wonder, how did you guys meet? John is the man, the myth, the legend.
Let's see.
And we've all gravitated towards him like the giant solar system he is.
Let's see. We'll start. Shani and I kind of knew of each other. We had kind of heard about each other. We really hadn't talked per se. And our first time of actually having a sitting together was on a flight back from Atlantic City to Chicago. And it wasn't a very long conversation because we were both kind of shot, but we got to talk a little bit and such, and found out that we both were people that were good people, and we could carry on and continue the conversation and friendship. MJ, let's see.
I remember the story. Do you?
Yeah, you tell it much better than I do, because
I started, as I'm getting older, I know that I'm not going to get as many club gigs. So I tried way back, started my own little video thing and tried to see if I could expand, my job into other things. And I actually got asked by a local website, a local DJ forum to write for them. And I did all that and got like 2 views. And one of the views was me. So I ended up contacting John and I said, do you guys take, because I just kind of give up on the video side of it. I said, do you guys take writers? Do you have your own staff? Or do you take freelance writers? And he goes, let me get back to you on Monday. And I'm like, okay. So he got back to me on Monday and he asked me, why did you quit doing the show? Did you run out of steam? And I told him no, because I have no viewers. And he goes, well, maybe you could try to do some stuff on ours. And I'm thinking, ooh, that sounds like a good idea. And then we talked a little bit more. I met him at the expo and we just started doing stuff and to see where it went. And that's how it started. 4 years ago,
Yeah,
3 years
I was
ago,
gonna say
three,
Three or
4 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was it. I came to him because he is the mogul. And if you want to learn how to do something right, go to someone who's doing it right. And that's what I did.
And then Dan, where did we cross paths?
I was a DJ News subscriber.
Yeah.
And had been going to the expos and stuff like that. And as I looked through the paper and even just through any of the publications that were out there at the time, what I felt was really missing was any voice for part-timers. That was my area, because it's like, all these guys have all this great advice, and it's awesome advice if you have 40 hours in a week to be able to just devote to the business side. It doesn't if you don't. And so I was friends with Steve Moody, and he was at the time writing for the paper. And I just said, hey, what do you think about this? And he said, contact John, see what he says. Next thing I know, John says, you want to write? So that became a monthly thing when I don't screw up and forget the deadline. And then 2 years ago, I think it was about 2 years ago, we came to the expo together, and John's like, hey, come up to the room. We're all hanging out. So I did. MJ was there, and we did a short little preview of the expo. And I guess in a way that's how they say the rest is history, because from that it grew into this. And Shani, I've known and ran into at the expo. She was just one of those bubbly personalities that would say hi to everybody. So it didn't matter if we were in the hall or in a room. She was more than willing to say, yeah, I said Shani, not MJ.
She didn't say hi to me though. No, she didn't say hi to me.
Oh, well,
You gotta catch me. You gotta catch me.
I'm like, Shani, can I get a picture?
I'll be like, yeah, come on, you gotta catch me.
Do you want to hit the last two questions real quick?
Yeah,
I think
let's finish the chat
I think
room.
we should hit these questions, and I don't know if you want to go into your questions, but I think your questions may make a whole nother show.
Yeah, we'll do those at a later time. Those were just filler things.
I think we should do them. No, I think they could be a funny night
we'll
right.
have fun with that on a different night. Let's wrap up with.
All right, two last questions. Have you ever played a song that offended a bride or groom?
Yes. Yes, unfortunately. And it wasn't a song that should have been any way, shape, or form offensive to a crowd, but it was one of those songs that should have been on a do not playlist. And and I don't remember what the song was, but I remember thinking I had played this song at any number of shows. It wasn't even something like Baby Got Back where they could be semi-offended with that. It was something that it was
country, wasn't it? You played country and they got offended.
No, it should have been, but no, I believe it was. It was a harder rock or kind of bordering on a hard rock, like Def Leppard or AC/DC or something to that effect. So it wasn't anything but it was just that they were very, very offended. They did not want any of that, and they didn't tell me this, and they were really upset about it. And it's like, geez, I didn't know. I mean, this is a common song, and I remember telling Lori afterwards that, how many times I played that song? It's like one of the most played songs. I want to say it's either Pour Some Sugar on Me or... and I think it was, now that I'm thinking about it, because I think that Pour Some Sugar on Me, they were upset about the sexual connotations from a rock and roll song. There we go. That's what it was.
Like that's never happened before.
Yeah, exactly. And of all the songs, we're going to go to a junior high dance and watch the kids sing Pour Some Sugar on Me. So, I mean, it's not like
Let them dance to any hip hop song now. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We were just talking about that even if you play the edited versions at some of the school dances, they're singing it so loud with the non-edited words, we get blamed for playing dirty. And I'm like, no, I was playing the clean version.
Right.
Exactly.
Your kids
they
were
know
screaming.
all the words. It doesn't matter. You can play the clean versions of every song. They know the words.
Yeah.
And we talked about, kind of building off that just a little bit, we talked in the first show tonight, if you didn't join us with that, is that the song My Neck, My Back, which is an old 2002 song because that was on that disc, is actually going to be something you need to be aware of now, because in the last few days, a gentleman released a video on that My Neck, My Back from a nursing home. Supposedly he's saying the
acoustic version from a version
at a nursing home. And the video makes it look like he is indeed singing it there. And you see a crowd shots and it looks like it's way too set up. I don't believe he did that in front of an audience, but it's really hot on YouTube right now. So you're going to hear people who are going to be like requesting this song. Can you play my neck, my back? And that kind of a thing. And that's where, Shani's Bye Boo Boo is going to come in well for you. Use that.
For real.
Use that tool because they're going to
That'll be the new video version.
Yeah. That's so anyway, just songs that could be offensive. Carl?
No, it was because I thought of Carl. I'm like, oh no.
Sorry,
Carl
you said that. I knew he would never do that.
No,
but
he
it
would
was just instantly what came to
He's
my
a
mind
very
with that.
talented man. Yeah,
He is.
Yeah, the guy who did the video wasn't talented. Carl's talented. All right, last question. I think John's probably going to hit this one the most, and like I said, we can still go over other stuff. How do you guys feel about Facebook advertising and promoting your business? Is it really worth it or not? I know people who have lots of success with it, and when I say lots of success, I don't mean that their business doubled or tripled. I mean that they definitely got back more than they put into the advertising money-wise.
My response, and I'm going to jump in and then jump out on this part because John, I know, can take this, but my thought when it comes to, and I'm just going to flat out, every advertising, it's got to be the message. It has to be the right message. So whether it's Facebook, whether it's radio, whether it's newspaper, whether it's carrier pigeon, it's got to be the right message or you're wasting your money. So now, when it comes to return on investment and whether it's the better option to go with Facebook versus another one. Yeah, I mean, what I've seen and what I've heard as well is, monetarily, it's a great way to quickly hit a lot and get a lot of return for I shouldn't say very little because you spend a ton on it. But, if you've used it and not seen success, I'd be more willing to bet that the message you had wasn't the right one.
It was good.
Yeah, I think that's very good, Dan. That was very good. Because I've talked to some people who have gone through and built their audience and targeted an audience, the same target methods that I utilize, and they have had little or no success with it. And I've had somewhere, again, I'm using the same audience pretty much every time I do an ad. Some ads will be received very, very well. Some ads will be like, lukewarm or worse, and it's just really depends on what you're putting out there for that content and such. Is it eye-catching? Is it something that's going to engage them and make them say, ooh, let me click on this so I can see it bigger? And if you don't have that capability, I don't think, unfortunately right now, Facebook advertising, because there's just so much of it out there, I don't think it's as effective today as it was 6 months to a year and a half ago. I think there's just so much of it. It's so prevalent out there that people have just kind of lost the desire to go. They're much more careful when they're looking now. It's like, okay, if I click on this, I know I'm going to be seeing this ad every day for the next 16 years. So I don't want to click on that. Ooh, I might have interest in that from Home Depot, but I'm not going to click on it. I'll go to Home. I'll do something else to maybe go look at it. You're hearing some of that from people, that they're getting a little savvy with the whole following me all over the internet. And not everyone has blockers like MJ has been able to successfully use. So they don't follow his progress as much. Most people don't have that. They don't want to have the Big Brother showing them that same the same impact wrench that they went and looked at yesterday for the next 4 days. So I think that unless you're the Russians and you're putting ad campaigns together that way, but looking at even what they did is they targeted things down so incredibly tight with their operation that if you liked a specific thing at a specific, then they showed you an ad. And they had thousands of ads that were out there running little variations of it because they really set it up as an automation system. That would be like if we could have it, okay, we're going to do brides in my area, but I'm going to find the brides who like Luke Bryan, and I'm going to send them an ad because they're going to probably maybe have a country twang to their weddings. And then I'm going to find the ones who like Marilyn Manson, and I'm going to send them more of a goth look. I don't know, whatever. But they going in at that depth is what they did on what they did. And it's a fabulous study when that all comes out and such to learn how they were so successful with it. But a big part of why they were so successful is they found people who were dumb enough to believe everything that they saw on the internet, which is kind of a sad reality. It's like, oh my gosh, that's what they did? Share. Okay, that's my soapbox, sorry.
That's all the questions I got.
And we're at 10 o'clock.
You guys were awesome. Thank you guys for the questions. These were great questions.
Yeah, we had some good stuff there. So,
Fries are done.
Coming up this week, actually, from our first show to this show, we're actually changing tomorrow night's show. Ben Stowe show. Initially, we were going to talk about speakers and such, but I got a message back that Peter Mary's available. So tomorrow night, actually, instead on a Ben Stowe, it's going to be Star Wars night. Ben Stowe and Peter Mary are probably the two biggest Star Wars geeks in the DJ community that I associate with. And they're going to come in and they're going to talk about, we're going to speculate on what's going to be coming out here in the next episode of the Star Wars. They've been studying and looking at it. So if
I
you're
might
not
actually tune in tomorrow.
if you're not into Star Wars, this is not going to be a night because those guys are big into the movies and part of it, and I'm into the extended universe of Star Wars. So it's going to be an interesting discussion on where we go and what we do, and that'll be at 9:00 Eastern, and then 10:00. Then Brian Red and I'll come back and we're going to talk about some of our past gigs and some.
Is everybody dressing in their Star Wars gear?
I don't know. I won't be because I've got a second show to do, and I don't want to have my Chewbacca thing going on, that kind of thing. Of course,
Oh, see, I thought we had Leia buns. I don't know.
oh, that's upstairs by the. That's another story. I won't share those.
That's a porn and chicken thing.
Yes, and we only use those on Monday night, so there you go.
Right.
All right. Thank you guys for watching and being with us tonight. Again, tomorrow we'll have a couple of shows. Wednesday we'll have a full boat of shows. We're going to actually have 3 on Wednesday. We're looking at music on a couple of shows, and then Dave and Jeremy will be back with us at 10:00 Eastern. Everything, go out to the DJNTV Facebook page, and you can see one of the top posts with all the things. So, MJ, Shaney, Dan, thank you much for being on tonight, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Good night, everyone.